Yes, you lovely people, if you're not already, make sure you give us a follow over on Spotify.
And after the game, I remember walking off the pitch and I was screaming, going nuts in the tunnel. And I remember Van Bommel, a Bayern player, looking at me as if to say, like, what is going on with this guy? I remember Gary Neville holding my arm and going, Rio, you just stop. You ain't going to win this one. Just stop. And I was going, you fucking know. You know. Like that. And he was like, and then Vida on the way home was like, Rio, sometimes you got to pick your arguments.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Fozcast. Today we have got an England and Premier League legend, one of the best centre-backs to ever grace the game. Agreed, Tom?
100%.
100%. The Rolls-Royce himself, Rio Ferdinand. Quickly, before you say hello or anything, let's have a look. 504 Premier League games, 81 England games, 14 goals. Boom.
Not bad, that. Not bad. That's a great intro. I'm going to come again.
We were going to do the honours and stuff, but we ain't got time.
In an era where Virgil van Dijk gets called a Rolls Royce, right? We were talking about this earlier today. You are the original Rolls Royce, Rio. You are, mate. You've always been that way. You would walk off the pitch, especially when I think you had white shorts in that kit there.
Yeah.
Not a stain of mud on them. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's just the way I played, mate. And you know what, Van Dijk, he's the best around now. Right now, at this moment, he's brilliant. And rightly so, you called him a Rolls Royce. The game was just a bit different back then, wasn't it? It was like, it's hard to compare eras as well. Yeah. And like my lads go, oh, you better than Van Dijk, Dad, or whatever. It's like, listen, it's different times. Like, he's great now. Let him have his flowers now. Do you know what I mean? It's good.
We were talking about Haaland. Did you watch the Charity Shield game on Sunday, by the way? So Haaland, right, obviously, listen, he's missed a few chances, and but I think his movement, you can see, can't you? You can see he's got it.
I'd be more worried if he didn't get one sniff at goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he didn't get a sniff at goal and he's come off the pitch and they've got beat and he hasn't had a chance, I'd be going, oh, this could be a long season. The fact he had probably 2, 3, maybe 4 sniffs at goal tells me that they're looking for him, they're finding him, and his movement's on point.
Already.
Because he got away from Van Dijk a couple of times.
He did, didn't he?
And Van Dijk's probably got away with it because he didn't punish him.
Yeah.
But if he scores them 2 goals,
it gets highlighted.
People going, oh my God, Van Dijk, where was he there? He's a bit off it. But I'd back Haaland to score the goals that he needs.
Right, so if you're playing on Saturday, you're playing against Erling Haaland, how are you defending against him? What are you doing? Are you making a point of looking at him, watching everything about it and going, right, this is how I'm going to approach it today?
Yeah, I think it's with City though. It's more about the system and the way that they play the rotations. There's so much movement. Forget Haaland around him that could drag you out of position. I think especially when the difference this season is going to be when the ball went wide in the Charity Shield, they crossed the ball.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, they never crossed the ball before. They had Jesus or they had a fake 9 playing. So now you're not only got a problem with the 8s getting in that pocket. In the 10 situation, you've also got someone who's a target in the box. It's so difficult. There's so many different problems for you as a defender. But it's hard to say, I'll do this, because the game just pans out so differently, doesn't it? It doesn't produce the same pictures that you'd prepare yourself for.
That's always the way I find it as well. Like, your best laid plans, right, can go out the window in the first minute. Like, they score an early goal, they get a red card, somebody gets a little injury, something like that. But I think that I agree with you though. The scary thing about Man City this year is last year I played them twice, and the amount of times they work the ball so quickly, they're behind the defenders and they're cutting it back, and you just know it's a goal. Yeah. You know it's a goal, but now they'll be in those positions. They'll be able to stand the ball up. They'll be getting balls into the box as well. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this could be carnage this year.
And he's someone who wants to score the scruffy, ugly goals.
Yeah.
He's scoring the 6-yard penalty spot goals. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before, it had to almost be the perfect scenario, laid back, perfect person, someone running onto it. Yeah. He's in there waiting, hungry. Do you know what I mean?
He worked as well. I see him like he was trying to. I could see him looking, trying to shut down at the right times as well. Do you know what I mean? He's not one to just sort of stand off and chill and stuff. He's looking to do it all, the full package.
I'm still going Kane top goal scorer.
Really?
Year.
Yeah. Okay then.
Have you got? Are you into FPL? Do you play FPL?
Oh, I'm all over it. You're gonna join? I've got a league. You gonna join it?
Boom, yeah.
Get we'll get your code. We'll get the code on screen now. If you're watching on YouTube, right, we're gonna put the code on screen now. Make sure you join your league, all right?
I love it, mate. Seriously. Last year I went 17 weeks unbeaten. Boom.
Shut up.
And something happened in my life. I don't know what it was, but you lose a bit of focus, and then you get to Friday and the time's gone. Didn't change my team. It just ruined my season.
Well, at least you carried on. Fozzie's one of these where if he's not top after 4 weeks, he bins it off.
It's not
fair weather play.
Yeah. It's not that. Do you know what it was last year? You know when you get games that get called off, right? And then you'll get like a double treble game week or something like that. No. But games were getting cancelled, and I had like no players playing and stuff like that. I'm thinking, what's the point? But this year, I can't see games getting cancelled again this year. I can't
messed it up last year.
It messes it up. The last few years, it's messed it up.
I've done my team. I've got an unbelievable team. Seriously, I'll show you later.
No, don't show us. I don't want to see it. I'm with these. I'm not letting them see my team, mate. Until that game week kicks off, mate. Then they can see it then. But other than then, no chance.
Cool.
Right, before we go any further, we've got you've dabbled in boxing, so we always ask our guests the same thing, right? And if you're walking into a pub in Liverpool, right, and it gets on top, and you've got to say, right, I've got 3 players, past or present, that are going to stand by my side and take on the Liverpool faithful, like in a kind of fun kind of way.
Why Liverpool, by the way?
I don't know.
Man United,
Liverpool,
yeah.
Okay, City. Who did you actually? Who was the big one for you? The big rival?
Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah.
Liverpool, yeah.
Crazy different atmosphere.
Yeah.
So the 3 people that I'd want on my side that I've played with.
Anyone?
I was just in our era of football.
But you've got to kind of know them. But so I think the beauty of it is you kind of know somebody and you think, actually, he's a sicko, damn. I don't want to get on the wrong side of him.
John Hartson all day long.
Really?
That's a great shout.
First pick, like lunatic.
Can I tell a funny story about John Hartson? So he used to play for West Brom, right? His go-to lunch in the afternoon, right? He would get in. All the lads used to buzz off him. Apparently, he would get in of a mashed potato sandwich.
That just says that's just like stodge, isn't it? Stodge, like immovable object. Yeah. I was at West Ham, right, and I was like 18, 19 or whatever I was. And he came, so I used to play. They used to put me up. Harry used to put me up front against John Hartson and Ian Dowie.
Oh, wow!
In small-sided games where it's close, they used to just get hold of me and drag me around the pitch. They were that strong and bigger than me at the time, but it was good grounding for me.
Yeah.
But he was hard as nails. Like I remember we went on a pre-season tour to Scotland or something like that, and it started getting a bit. The last day, you always bought your nice jeans and
just in case you get a little sneaky night out.
And we always did at West Ham. And we went to a pub and it started getting a bit rowdy in there. And I remember I realised that the only really hard people were like this, where he went, you know what, guys, down his pint, put it down and said, listen, guys, I'm going to go before there's no turning back. And he just walked out and I just followed him.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Like, and I thought, right, but you see in games, mate, he used to pick people up and just run with them on his back. He was a joke. And never went in the gym.
Really?
Strongest man
Natural
around.
one of them, just natural strength.
Him, who else?
I thought you'd put Wazza in there. I did.
Wazza.
I thought you'd put Wazza, but I think everybody's seen the video of him and Bardo.
Yeah, when Bardo chinned him, I don't think he makes it there.
That chin just made of glass, mate.
Ludo McCloskey was at West Ham.
Oh, yeah,
well.
nice.
Wow.
Yeah, big Ludo.
Big Czech. Is he Czech?
Yeah, something like that, weren't he? Yeah.
Goalkeeper.
Yeah.
6'5".
Big blockhead on him.
Best athlete.
Really?
Used to be at front of the running. And you just had them eyes. He was a soft, nice guy, but you know that if them eyes went, it could be carnage for somebody. Yeah, and I think I'd go. I'm going all West Ham at the moment. I'd probably go Paolo Di Canio.
Oh,
just because he's a lunatic. And what he would say would get us out of trouble. He'd just be speaking Italian and a mix of English as well, and it'd throw everyone. Yeah. And they'd go, I love him.
All right, cool.
And we'd be cool and we'd get out.
No problem, no drama, yeah.
Yeah, we'd get out.
Great answers. I
like that. Nice little mixed bag of that, yeah. Really nice. All right, we're going to start with a little bit of Lioness talk, all right, Rio. So, went to the state. I went to the game last night. Tom went to the game. It was absolutely banging. You were watching it on your TV at home. How good was that last night?
Mate, seriously. Like, you know what? The mad thing is, I've watched women's football for a long time, since I was a kid, on and off. Since Doncaster Bells were playing on Channel 4 years ago. And so I've always had like a little eye on it. But this has just taken the country by storm. Like, even my little girl don't even like football. Oh my God, Dad, the Lioness is like, can I get a kit? It's just like what it's done for a generation of young, not just girls, but boys as well. My boys were sitting there watching. They play football. They were loving it. Like, it was unreal, man. And the fact that they won as well was just like phenomenal.
Did you fear the worst like us last night when it went to extra time and the girls were on their asses? They were dying to death, weren't they? You could see how tired they were.
The spirit, though, was just like, you could see that, and it, obviously being at home galvanises people, gives you that extra little spark. But I just thought the Germans, I expected them to score. Yeah. When it went 1-1, I thought, oh no. But by hook or by crook, they managed to get it done. So Gareth and his team have got to speak to these girls now.
Exactly.
How did you do it?
Yeah.
How did you do it? Like, because they were tremendous in all areas, all aspects, and they got a nation to absolutely get behind them.
Yeah.
Like we've never seen. Record-breaking attendances, viewing. I'm sure 87,000+ like in the stadium
Incredible,
for the
isn't it?
finals. Like incredible scenes.
Right, so I want to touch on something you just said then as well. Then you said, so Gareth needs to talk to the girls about how they got over the line there. I saw you put a tweet out the other week actually, and I've not got this in the notes, but it's just sprung something in my mind. And it said something along. It was like an American footballer, I think it was, and he said, why would I listen to some of these sort of like so-called, do you know what I mean, pundits basically, who have never played the game, by the way, and they're telling me what I've done wrong or blah, 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 that. And I kind of thought, yeah, I see what you're saying, though, to be fair, mate. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a certain thing to say that a lot of pundits today, they know what they're talking about. They're decent, yeah? But I think that little bit of extra knowledge, that little nugget from playing the game for 20 years, I think that carries a lot of weight, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I look at it like when I played and who I'd listen to.
Yeah.
No disrespect, Richard Keys was brilliant at what he'd done, but if he was critiquing me as a footballer, I would just go, probably I'd listen to somebody who was actually in the studio who plays the game, and I'd probably take it with a bit more, it's not seriousness, but it would hit me a bit.
Yeah,
bit
got a bit more weight behind it.
Hit me differently, yeah. So I do think I asked a question on that tweet.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I liked it though.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that it also depends on like how long that person's been in the industry.
Yeah.
And then obviously it's almost the situation, is the person right? Because if the person's right, it doesn't matter who he is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But if it's something where I'm going, I'm not sure, that's bringing something new to the table. But it's from a player, an ex-player. I go, okay, I'll take that to a bit more consideration. But it is a difficult question. It's not as cut and dry, but it is a good thought provoker. But I as a player, I think you'd be the same. You know when you're right or wrong in a situation. Yeah. So if they're saying it and it's for the right reasons, you just got to take it on the chin. No one wants to be wrong or be critiqued. But if it's like, listen, I've made a cock up there with a pass or a goal or decision, I ain't got to be told by X, Y, or Z.
You know yourself.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I've loved about what you've done? I've seen on telly a few times is they'll show you playing in a game and there'll be a certain goal or a certain moment that happened, and then you break it down from your point of view where you're going, right, this is what happened. He had just slipped, so I had seen he had slipped, so I had to try and I'm watching it, I'm thinking, this is gold, isn't it? Like, this is what people buzz off.
Yeah, I think I always think with punditry, like, listen, you at some point you're going to retire. Your body's going to say no at some point, right? Whenever that is. And if you was to go into punditry and go on, you want to make Bill and Bob, Betty and Sue on their couch, who like in football, don't watch 5 games a year, but if you can make them understand it, you are doing the right thing. You're doing the right job. That's the way I look at it. If I can make people that are just like every now and again watchers of the game go, oh, I didn't see it as clear as that, but actually you just really give that a bit of clarity and make me understand the game a bit better now. Then I'm doing my job, and I think that's the aim and the job of a pundit.
I don't even think it's occasional watchers. I think there's a lot of fans that watch every game, and like you said, Ben, it's having that. I've played the game for 20 years, and you hear a lot of fans, a lot of cliches, kind of comments. What's he doing there, beating the near post, or he's too high, whatever. But it's actually then I think the really good pundits go, no, this is why, this is how, and that's the reasons because of X, Y, and Z. And I think that's when I watch a lot of football and I'll go, you're not getting that unless you've played.
Yeah.
Absolutely there.
If I get Betty, Bob and Sue to understand it, who are occasional watchers, then the ones who watch 25, 50 games, they were easily going to get it. I'm saying, do you know what I mean? But it's true. The how, why.
Yeah.
And then what's the solution maybe next time he comes into the situation, them type of things.
I think we live in a world now as well where like Twitter, Instagram, it's so instant, and they'll screenshot the shit out of everything, right? And they'll go, look at his position there, and it's like, nah, it's not though, because if you press play, it's corrected in a few seconds. You know what I mean? This is like us. Honestly, I love watching it when you're doing it and you're dissecting it and you're going, and I know Vidic is tired. I know he's knackered at this point, so I know he can't get in there. So I have to try and get in it, and it's like, this is so fascinating.
It's
mate.
bringing your personal like association to a position or a scenario in a game that you can go and touch on that brings the fan closer to that moment again. Do you know what I mean? It's just them layers. And like you say, someone who hasn't played the game can't get that element. They can bring out something else maybe, but they're not going to bring that part, which I think is sometimes the gold.
Vidic, quickly, while we just mentioned Vidic, best centre-back partnership you've ever played with, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
joke
for sure.
Joke of a player.
Okay, yeah.
What was it like for you as a keeper?
I used to scare the shit out of me, Rio. Mate, you just scare me so much. Honestly, like when
Actually,
I was
sorry, I'm bringing Vida with me.
yeah,
Okay, there you
Sorry,
go.
There you
take
go.
Ludo McCloskey out.
Okay,
bring Vida in.
Vida's going in.
Yeah.
Mate, he's honestly double scary, mate. Honestly, right? So, like, when I was at Man United, like, I was a completely different person. I was like fully like my eyes were like open all the time. Like, what the heck? Like, this is crazy. Like, this is madness. But whenever we played a six-a-side, right, the two players I never wanted to be on their team was Wayne Rooney and Nemanja Vidic, right?
Didn't want to be on their team.
I did not want to be on their team, right? Because they were so competitive, like the most I've ever seen of anybody in my life, right? So competitive that I was on edge that if I ever possibly made a mistake or even just threw it out wrong or something, mate, they were on you, weren't they? On you.
But that was the culture, though, man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much you said it on there before, but like when in training was like as important as matches.
Yeah.
Like if you lost in training, the banter will go on for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Like bantering people, like you were rubbish, you were shit, like whatever. But and the feeling of losing weren't nice. It weren't a nice taste in training.
No, it weren't.
It was like it's obviously ego driven, a lot of it as well.
Yeah.
You want to be top dogs.
I remember you hearing about talking about Berbatov when he came in and he was like, like moving across the pitch or whatever, and you're like, "This is Man United. You don't do that. This is Man United. It's different here." And it's like it was they were an exception to the rule, weren't they? In everything they did.
Yeah, you got to kind of conform to what the environment that you come into, especially a winning environment that know how to win anyway. You can't be coming in as somebody who's been at a club that doesn't know how to win, hasn't won, and then think that the club's going to conform to you.
Yeah.
No chance.
Did you ever have it on the reverse side where you've had players come in and almost they elevated the group again? Where obviously you come into Man United and the standards there, but did you ever have experiences, both of you, where like a player came in and went, right, he's not adapting, he's pushing the group even further?
Van Persie.
Yeah, really.
Mate.
I had left by them. Tell me about
Mate.
Van Persie. Go on.
Mate. Loads of people always say to me about players like Robin. Technically, his all-round game was one of the most soundest from a striker I've
Really,
seen.
yeah.
Does like Louis Saha would have been better at different aspects.
Yeah.
Wazza would have been at a certain
Individual
element better.
things. Yeah.
Ruud van Nistelrooy would have had some individual that's better than him. But in terms of having a high standard of all of it,
Yeah.
he's hard to beat in that sense because
Really,
he
yeah.
was just like Wazza was great as well. Don't get me wrong. You're splitting hairs between them two, really, for me. But Van Persie, the crispness with what the way he played. And don't forget, like he came in, and the manager said to us, "This guy wins you the league." And I said it on my YouTube channel before. I think it was about 12 games in. He was top goal scorer in the league at the time.
Yeah.
And the manager called us in and put a video in, and all the teams there, and he just showed us about 6 or 7 clips when players were on the ball, and he was going, "Stop! Look at Robin, he's in. Look at Robin, he's in." But the ball weren't coming. Scholesy, Carrick, people out on the ball, not passing the ball. If you want to win the league, pass him the ball.
Wow.
You're saying that
like,
to
mad.
Paul Scholes and Michael Carrick, by
Yeah.
the way.
And that's a winning culture at that club already. And he came in and then went on again. He got top goal scorer in the league. And the pass that Rooney makes against Villa when we win the league later on in the season, that pass might not happen if that conversation doesn't happen.
That
in
video
meeting.
didn't happen. That conversation didn't happen. The tiny little details. That's ridiculous, mate.
But like with Robin van Persie, everyone knows he was a great player. He's never tends to be in that conversation when it's brought up.
He's not, is he?
Mate,
No,
I
he's
don't know.
not.
Because at Arsenal, he was good. Like I played against him at Arsenal, and if you was going to say to me, "Give me the top 5 players, strikers you've played against in the league," he wouldn't have got in it.
Yeah.
Or
But
top
playing
10
with him.
even maybe at that point.
Wow.
Comes to Man United, and I'm going, "Wow, this guy is levels."
Do you think he stepped it up then when he signed for
Mate,
Man United?
he was a joke.
Even better than Arsenal.
And what's great as well for all the young listeners that are listening, he's at Arsenal, international at Holland, comes to Man United, and he's like a school kid, wanting information, like a sponge. Like I used to drive him into training because he lived near me, and he just asked me. It'd be like an interrogation on the way to training most of the time.
Serious.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a kid when he joined either.
he's
He
like
was
seasoned.
29, was he?
Yeah, like seasoned, like proper, like experienced player, but asking me enough questions. I sit there and think sometimes, Jesus Christ,
Shut up,
put the
Rob.
music on, please, or put Talksport on, please listen to it. But he's chatting, asking mad questions about Fergie and things like that, and like, oh, what is it like doing this? And he was like, and what he used to say as well. The culture's so different here, man. Every day means something.
Oh, really?
That's what and he was like, I love it. So he was probably the most hurt when the manager retired the following season.
Yeah.
Because he came for Fergie.
For Fergie, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Came to win, but he knows that he's the guy that makes you win.
Mate, that's like, so if you think about it, he's left Arsenal, right, where he's the main man, he's scoring, everybody knows he's the main man, but the culture still just isn't the same, and it's no surprise then that they would always just fall short, wouldn't they? Always just fall short.
Yeah.
And he goes and signs for them and goes again.
But that's an important word, isn't it? Culture. I mean, we've talked about it recently in the podcast, and obviously we'll touch on United in a minute, like the here and now. But like with with City and Liverpool, it like as an average Joey fan, it feels like there's a culture that's been built for a number of years. Well, that's no different to United back in the day, is it really?
Yeah, and it's so important. And I think it's so evident when you walk through the door. Like when you come and sign for United, I'm sure you would have gone home and said to your mates, "Gee, I've never known nothing like this."
Yeah,
like, that's how I felt when I walked in.
Really,
looking around, and you got like Roy Keane, you got like Van Nistelrooy, you got Giggsy, you got all these big names, and you're sitting there thinking, "Well, I can't not lose. I mean, I can't not win."
Even Gaznev, who might not be like the most like decorated player in the world, like you'd never bring him up as like the best right back ever or whatever. But mate, do you want him in your team? Yes, please, all day long. Like the guy never shuts up, does he?
No, and it's giving you the info that you need. Like in my first year, it was quite nip and tuck going to win the league and stuff like that. We won the league eventually, but there were points in the season where we'd got a draw, I think, away at Southampton, and I think Arsenal, someone pegged us back a little bit. And I was like in a depressive state in the shower, thinking but I could hear him talking in the shower next to me. That's a point gained, boys. It's a point gained. We ain't lost. And I'm sitting there thinking, we've just lost 3 points. Oh my God, we're going to lose the league now. But he just calmed me down with that little sentence of and being like calm, because he's experienced it. He'd been there 10 or so years already. So I'm there in my first year, panicking the life out of it, thinking we've fucked it, we've blown it. But he's like, them little conversations there, and eventually you become that person who has them because you know there's young players in earshot, calm the situation down, and so you might not be the best player, but you need best characters, best people.
This is what Liverpool are very strong at.
Yeah,
Milner,
like
Jordan Henderson. Mate, Jordan Henderson is the most. Don't get me wrong. Everybody knows how much of a team player, but them two, I guarantee, every day in training, right? Like some of the old boys used to do at Man United. They're the ones that keep it ticking every single day.
Yeah, you
every
need
single
them.
day.
You don't need it's like Milner's just signed a new deal, 1 year deal.
Yeah.
It's no coincidence why he's doing that. It's because they know the culture's probably driven through someone like him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Scott Carson at Man City.
Yeah.
He's 48. he looks 54, right? But he's still there. But I know he's one of the people in terms of standards and culture. He's driving it behind the scenes.
I don't think people quite understand that sometimes, do they?
No,
I don't think
people see it. They don't see it.
But I always hark on about it is, when you break it down, it's another workplace, isn't it? So you could be working in a lawyer's firm or on a building site. You need characters in every, like with your business now.
Yeah,
you'll have the right people in place.
Yeah, and if you haven't got the right people, it falls down.
Yeah.
If there's a chink in your armour somewhere, it's like in a tunnel. If there's a brick that's out, the water will find that.
Get exposed, man.
And then that's it. And it's Pep Guardiola said that to me. I didn't know about Scott Carson. I saw him for a coffee, and he just said, like, we were talking about culture and building that and driving it every day. And he said, you wouldn't believe who's one of my main people, and Scott Carson. And I couldn't believe it. I almost fell off my chair.
I love that.
But it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know
that's class.
Ain't close to playing a game.
Nah, but it is what it is. He's got his role. Like his role is to do that, and he's doing it like just as important as somebody on the Saturday afternoon. KDB absolutely banging goals and stuff. That's his job.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
What's the impact he has on Edison, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Bezzy mates as well, by the way. Quickly, just talking about the culture at Man United. I remember, like, because obviously I didn't play very much, but I was always like, so on the Sunday, for example, we'd do the warm down session and stuff like that. Mate, even the warm down sessions, like I've been at football clubs where the warm down session on a Sunday, or like the Joey's bits kind of thing, mate, is miserable. Honestly, everybody's kicking off, booting balls everywhere because they're pissed off because they ain't play or whatever. Sunday at Man United was a proper training session, mate. Like everybody's watching. The gaffer is sitting in his corner office up there, right, keeping an eye on everything. And then he'd take a little mooch down, have a little watch from the side. Everybody would step it up again. It was proper, mate.
It was like it's hard to not buy into that. Like I always say to people, like especially young players, even at United, like if you've got a chance of being in that and and staying in that culture and having a career at that, you can't piss about.
Yeah.
Man. And that's what used to disappoint when you see some young kids and young players who lose focus, and you're thinking, mate, you don't get long here. If you mess about 1, maybe 2 years, if you're lucky, you're gone.
Yeah, you
know
will
what I
be
mean?
gone. Yeah, mate.
So-
Back then, you wouldn't even last that long. You had 6 months, a year, and if you fall short, you're out, mate. Whether you're on loan or gone, whatever. Right, let's bring it back to the here and now. Okay, the current Man United team. I've got here some notes that I've made this morning, right? And this might sound a little bold, but I'm going to stand by it. All right. I don't think at this moment in time there's one Man United player that would get into a Man City or a Liverpool team. I don't. I think I love Man United. I've played for Man United. There's all the teams that I've played for, right? I will always get behind and support. I still just think they're so far behind them two teams at the minute.
I think both of them teams, for a one-off game,
Yeah.
they may take Varane, a fit Varane. Not based on his form at United, but a fit Varane. I think they might take Varane.
Yeah. I'm not a million miles off, am I?
No, you're not.
No.
No.
I'm not.
Cristiano Ronaldo would.
Yeah.
Is an argument maybe you could put forward based on the amount of goals he scored last season, but his age probably goes against him. Yeah, you can't go against that.
I know.
United are so far behind in terms of points last season.
Yeah.
And personnel. Do you know what I mean? Where does a Bruno Fernandes fit in them two teams?
Yeah, exactly.
In front of Bernardo Silva, who's on fire. I don't think so. Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Thiago was arguably one of their best players last year at Liverpool. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is as well, though, like the things with like Man City and Liverpool is there never seems to be any kind of bad news or like, do you know what I mean? Like you never see much like on social media about shit going on or this and that. Or
why do you think that is though?
Transfer sagas.
Yeah, transfer whole thing.
Why do you think that is?
It's got to come from the top. It has to come from the top. The manager sets a culture of, no, we get our head down, lads, and we just do it, right? Like Man City, Bernardo Silva, take him, for example. Like, I couldn't tell you what the guy does any other day of the week, but I know on a Saturday afternoon he'd do his job to within an inch of its life. But I don't ever hear anything else about it.
That's a good point, Russ. So I'd like to get your view on that. What do you think about players extracurricular?
I think there has to be, I'd say, as an older player, for somebody who's coming to the end of his career, there has to be a time and place for it. I'd say if you're going to do it, you are opening yourself up, and we've seen it, haven't we? With what I've done over the last few years, like I have exposed myself or opened myself up to an awful lot of good, bad, and indifferent. A good lot, and you've got to have broad shoulders to be able to take it. If you're doing the business on the pitch, I think there's a element to say you can do what you want nearly. As long as it's all good, but yeah, you are opening yourself up, mate.
I always think like, because I got into Twitter early and I was
doing
my 5 stuff early, and I was like, I only ever felt comfortable starting that once I was comfortable with my performance.
Yeah.
Not just on a Saturday and a Tuesday or Wednesday. It was like every day in training. I'm performing every day because you know what it's like that at a club at that time. If you don't perform in training, you're getting called out. Like straight away. So you had to be on point every day. Once I was confident in that. And obviously, being in a winning culture, I felt more at ease doing it. But that's why I asked you, obviously, because you're not like a club that's going to win the league at the moment, in the Premier League or whatever. So it's a bit of a different end of the spectrum, just to see what your understanding or ideas was about that. It's good.
It was a different dynamic for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because obviously, when you had the season in the Champo and you're winning every week, and it's GoPro in the back of the goal, hey, brilliant! It's fantastic, isn't it?
It's unbelievable that.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good laugh. Yeah.
But the second
you get
in
promoted
the
to the Prem and you're getting pumped every week. It's not a distraction, mate. Honestly.
But it's look at Jesse Lingard, right? Everyone knows what he does. I think it's really amusing. I quite like it, and so on and so forth. But he went at West Ham, tore it up, and then he's at United, and people are then saying he needs to. He wasn't played. Like, what more can the kid do? Do you know what I mean?
True,
I think it's a little bit unfair.
I think a lot of jealousy will come into it, won't it? It's always the way. A lot of jealousy will come into it. Everybody knows he's on X amount of money a week or whatever, and they've like, well, no, you should just get your head down and thing. I know there are certain players. I know you for a fact were like that. If you would have lost a game, you would have spent that night going, but that was. That's you as a professional, to be fair. That's why you got to the top and did exactly what you did, even though you only scored 14 goals. But
you know that point. Sorry to cut you. You know that point there. Yeah, it's like that's the only bit that doesn't concern me. Is the bit that I'm just not too sure about. Like if I've played a game and I've either played bad or we haven't got the result that was needed that day, I wouldn't have been posting.
Yeah.
That's the bit that I go like, okay, you've not won or whatever, and you're still posting happy faces, smiling, or doing madness of what you're doing. That's
Read the
bit.
room.
Exactly.
Read the room.
What's the temperature?
Yeah.
Probably not the best day.
Yeah.
You're probably going to get a few people throwing a few things at you if you start posting now. But some players don't have the care about it, attention, awareness, or just think, you know what, this is me. I'm going to be me no matter what the result is.
Yeah.
And so now we have to respect that. I think I might not agree, but you have to respect it and go, you know what, this is where they
changing times.
It
Isn't it?
is a change. We're at a tipping point with it all, aren't we? But you had it last year where I felt, I'm going to say this, but I felt you were close to it in the fact that you'd get pumped by someone and you'd go, listen, I'm not putting out a video. For people that don't know, Ben had like the camera for probably 15 or 20 minutes total over a 48-hour period. But he's going, listen, we've just got beat. It's probably the morale's bit there. We're not going to put it out. We're just going to take a bit of a rain check and come back.
You know, it's just reading the room kind of thing. We saw Patrice Ever actually a couple of weeks ago at a YouTube thing, and Patrice now he's trying to get into YouTube, like he's trying to do all this kind of stuff, and so he was like picking the brains and all that kind of stuff, and they actually asked him like, what would have happened if you would have started to try and do something like this, like cycling GK or something back in the days when like Alex Ferguson was out, he was like, no chance.
Shut down.
Absolutely no chance, mate.
Shut down, isn't it?
That's it's not even a possibility, is it?
Patrice is a funny one though, because it's not Patrice now is not the Patrice that I remember in the change room. Is it for you or not?
No chance.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's created this character.
Yeah, he has.
Like, because Patrice wasn't that guy in the change room.
No, he
Do you know
weren't.
what I mean? He's got quite just a calm, straightforward guy. He should be like a translator, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he had the weirdest relationship with Jizzle.
Yeah, Jizzle.
I remember the first time I walked into that change room and G was getting changed, and you've walked in back from some holiday and you've gone, Jizzle!
So this is Park Ji-sung, right?
Yeah.
And I just pissed myself in my head. I was just like, oh, that's fucking brilliant.
But him, it was G, South Korean, talking to Argentinian who can't speak English,
Carlos
Tevez, and Patrice, who was a translator between the three of them.
And they would like hang out, wouldn't they?
They would be a threesome together all the time. And then if the Spanish contingent in the change room, it'd be the translator for them as well.
Yeah.
The Portuguese, it'd be translator for them. Patrice was in the middle of that, but it wasn't like he weren't this like mad character.
No, he weren't.
He was mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got to talk about Carlos Tevez.
I want to talk about Carlos Tevez, right? Because I've got my own opinion of Carlos Tevez, right? So on a Saturday afternoon, right, the guy was an animal. He was a joke, right? And everybody, the thing about him was he was so reliable and you knew what you were going to get and he would work everything, right? But in training, he just fell short every single day because it's almost like he just couldn't be bothered, could he? Training didn't do it for him.
I've said this before. I don't think he was happy when I first said it, but I'll get on with him now. But it's, I totally agree. Like, my mates used to say to me, like, "What's Tevez like?" Because he had a big name and that. And I say, "Mate, you wouldn't want to be on your team in training."
Yeah.
No chance. You lose if you're on your team. You you're a man down before you start, right? But come Saturday, he's one of your first picks.
Yeah.
He was an unbelievable player. Another one doesn't get the credit he probably deserves.
That, yeah.
He was elite.
Yeah, he was.
Like he could mix it with the best of them. He was fearless. He could score big goals. He scored us on the way to winning a couple of leagues. He was like big goals, Blackburn away, Spurs away, big goals in Europe as well. Lyon, I think it was, or someone. But it's so reliable. But I just feel that foreign players treat training different to English and British players. In training here, every day is to be won. With them, there's a purpose to why I'm training. Today is a day where I take my foot off the gas, or a day where I'm just going to work on little movements, not going to go too hard.
They'll tailor their week,
they'll tailor their week to the weekend, to the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to get myself best prepared for the game. If that means I'm going to be off it for 2 or 3 days, it's cool, but it won't affect me mentally. Whereas us British boys, if we're off it in a training session on Thursday and Friday, don't play well or don't bet on the winning team, I'm going into the game on Saturday thinking, I'm fucking out of form.
Yeah.
Forget the game on Tuesday, I'm out of form, I can't believe it.
Wow.
But it's mad like that, boy. Yeah. They're very different. So it was almost, we had to understand him a bit better.
Yeah.
We probably didn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he was like, some days he wouldn't go out training. You'd walk out and you go, where's Carlos? He's on the massage table getting a massage. His daughter was up all night. He's not training today.
Yeah, just come in and say it. I ain't training. And then he'll just walk out dead slow.
But
Look like
that
he's half
must have
asleep
been,
kind of thing.
you at Man United at that time, you ain't having many Carlos Tevezes, are you?
No, but
he must have been
come
so
on,
special.
He was that good. He'd either come on in a game and just change the intensity of the game.
Would,
Mate, he'd chase, and then get it, a bit of quality. Like he was a great player. I love Carlos Tevez as a player. When he left, I was gutted.
He had a nice little bit of nastiness about him as well. He didn't care. Right, I got another little thing I remember from my time at Man United. Yeah, I think you might have spoken about this before actually. We were away at Inter Milan, and I think it was Inter Milan anyway. And we were winning in the game, right? And then something happened. I think the manager made a substitution or whatever, right? And we got in at full time. We'd actually just lost the game. 2-1. I think it was 2-1.
Bayern Munich.
Was it Bayern Munich? Sorry, Bayern Munich then, yeah. And everybody was just like, wow, like we just lost, can't believe it. And you've come in, I remember, and you are giving it. And I remember watching you give it to the manager. And to be fair, the manager was good as gold. He gave it you just as hard as what you were giving it him. But I remember sitting there and thinking, wow, he's just gone at Sir Alex Ferguson. But fair enough, like, you gave it proper and you had a point as well, didn't you? Do you remember it?
Yeah, mate, it's like clear as day, like it was yesterday. And I remember he made a substitution in the game,
Yeah,
didn't
that
he?
was it, yeah.
That I didn't agree with. I think Scholesy got sent off or something like that. And
I can't remember.
Something happened and he made a substitution. I was like going on the pitch going, what are you doing? We're winning 1-0 at the time, by the way. Then they come back, scored, and then they scored a winner late on. And after the game, I remember walking off the pitch and I was screaming, going nuts in the tunnel. And I remember Van Bommel, a Bayern player, looking at me as if to say, like, what is going on with this guy? Like, weirdo, like, lunatic. And I came in, I remember it being quite quiet. But I was just, was lost in my own.
You were shouting as you came in. I was already in there. And he came shouting. And the managers had to sort of like try and calm it down. But it got to the point where he can't stop. Yeah. So the gaffer at that point just had to tell him, like, nah, I'm not having this anyway. And it was like, oh my God.
I remember Gary Neville holding my arm and going, Rio, just stop, you ain't going to win this one, just stop. And I was going, you fucking know, you know. And he was like, and then Vito on the way home was like, Rio, sometimes you got to pick your arguments. And I was like, and I went in the next morning, I went in early and went to his office to apologise.
Did you?
Yeah, I went to his office and just said, like, Gaffer, he said, who is it? I said, it's Rio. I came in, he said, well, you went again. I've come in to apologise. He went again and went nuts. Seriously, like, you took the piss. How dare you in front of the team question me, the staff? And I said, listen, I agree. I still believe what I said's right, but the timing, I should have waited when we were me and you alone. Yeah. So I apologise, but he was great.
Yeah, he was top class.
There was never any hangover for stuff like that. He'd have an argument with you, and then a day or two later, he'd call off and it'd be fine.
Mate, he was so, honestly, that was, I think, one of his biggest skills. He could nail the shit out. Yeah, he did it to me a couple of times. But then another day or two later, I'd be in the canteen just having some whatever, and he'd just come and put his arm around you, or he'd just come and sit next to you, and he's just chatting about this or that, whatever. And I'm like, are we cool there? Like, he hadn't even mentioned that bit, and he's just cracked on with it. And I'm thinking, that is, that's.
And you're sitting there shitting it.
Shitting it. Shitting it, mate. Honestly. We used to play a game, right? When we used to go travelling away, with whether it was with England or whether it was Man United, we always used to play a game on the PSP, yeah? For those older, younger listeners, handheld, PlayStation Plus, was that what it stood for?
PlayStation, PSP.
PSP, yeah.
Yeah, it was PlayStation. Was the online element, was it?
Yeah.
Maybe,
yeah. Anyway, what was the game called?
SOCOM. Best game ever.
It was like an old school Call of Duty.
Yeah. It was Call of Duty before Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah. And this, like, mate, we used to spend hours on this game, didn't we?
All of our travelling journeys were taken up by this. Like, so if we were doing that an hour's journey, it was almost like, it's not long enough. We want like a 2-3 hour one we can get right amongst it. Like 2 teams, 6v6, 5v5.
Like good buy-in,
we had most of our squad, other than the oldies like Gary Neville and Edwin and Giggsy, they used to look back and think, who are these lunatics, clowns? But I actually still say part of us winning and our culture was down to that game. Yeah. Trust me, because we were all together in it. Like hating each other at times, arguing, people throwing PSPs. It was unbelievable.
Did you like sit in teams and stuff? Or?
Yeah,
you had to be. So it was back then when like you couldn't play like on the internet. You couldn't play wirelessly or anything like that. So you had to get in a room, right? Yeah. So when we'd go with England, right, we actually found it would go through a wall. Yeah. So we'd have, because we're talking to each other about where we might be. Yeah. I'm in that room down there, but you don't want the other team. So basically, it would be Man United against Chelsea. Yeah. But we'd be with the England like hotel.
So Frank Lampard, John Terry,
Ashley Cole,
Joe Cole.
Yeah.
A few of them.
I think we'd have to put a Man United player because there was always like 6 or 7 Man United players. So we'd put a Man United player.
Oh, is this like the kid?
We'd put the Joey. Yeah, it was like Kieran Richardson or something.
Yeah. Kieran was actually good though, man.
Yeah, he was.
What was his name on it again?
Vendetta.
Yeah. Can you go through the names? Wes Brown was Wade Baby or something like that.
Johnny was Snave. Johnny Evans was Snave.
What was Darren Fletcher? Haywire.
Oh my God.
So what were you two boys then? Go
on. He was Golden Gun.
I was Golden Gun. Who were you?
I was Brap.
Of course you were. It was unbelievable. Brilliant.
No, and we used to, we scored goals. Right, you got to get this. Put it up. You got to do the pictures. There's pictures where we have like me, Cristiano. I think Kieran Richardson was doing like the rocket launcher.
Yeah, that's what you did.
We done a celebration after one of the goals. Like,
oh, really?
In testament to the game. It was unreal.
Mate, honestly, hours you'd play it. Seriously.
What was Shazy?
Oh wow. Well, I'll try and remember that. Shazy. We got into it so much, right? That, like I said, when like England, for example, there would be a wall. We'd go in separate rooms, but we'd have to sit with our backs against the wall just so we're close to the wall, and it would go through the wall, golden kind of thing.
Unreal.
But we can't let them hear us, because we're saying I'm in that room and in there. So like, what I would like to do most of the time, you have to go and revive your teammates. If somebody died, you'd have to go and revive them. I'd wait till I've killed somebody down there, and I'll just plot up. Nice and happy, I'll be watching.
He was the most selfish player ever. Goalkeeper.
Yeah, there you go.
Lone wolf, mate. So anyway, I'd watch him, right? I'd wait till he's got revived. His mates come, revived him. Boom, shoot two
kills.
of them. 2 more kills, mate. What?
Yeah.
And then I'd wait for somebody else to come, try and get them. Easy pickings, mate. It was gold though, weren't it?
So what about the golden gun? So you've got a little story here.
So the golden gun's been I've always used everything, PlayStation, all that kind of stuff.
Like these days with usernames and stuff, to have with no asterisks, no numbers,
Yeah,
nothing,
it's
the golden
name,
gun.
Isn't it? Yeah, solid name. So my son plays on my PlayStation account now. So whenever he plays like FIFA or whatever, he's the golden gun. But he had a little rebellion stage.
Inundated now,
mate. I will 100%. Like loads of requests all over. He had a little rebel stage like last year or 18 months ago, or whatever. And he went on and he changed the username on the PlayStation account details to not _ the golden gun, right? And I've come in, I've seen it, I've said, why is it not the golden gun? And he's like, looked at me a bit sheepish, gone, I changed the name. I was like, nah, that's his. Live it as like
banned, straight
mate,
banned.
I've had that username since like day one on PlayStation. Like, you know, when it first went online and you could make your own username. And
Have you got it back now?
Yeah, I got it back. I had to send them emails, I had to ring them, I had to do all sorts, but got it back anyway. We're golden. Right, so I said to you earlier as well, when you got here, I said, like, I'm kind of at the point where I could retire, I might retire, I'm not sure, I could carry on playing. When did you know? What was it? Was there something happened? Was it one individual moment, or was it just your body telling you?
Yeah, my body was basically my body just kind of shut down. You know, at the end of the end, I was getting a lot of injuries. My back was a real big problem. I could never get to the bottom. I travelled all over the world to try and see different surgeons and specialists about my back. I could never find and get to the bottom of it. But I went to QPR, and I'm actually travelling with Bobby Zamora. And we lived in similar areas, so we're travelling in the back of a Viano. We used to have used to be watching what's the show again?
Breaking Bad.
We used to watch that together, yeah. And I remember after about 6 weeks, 2 months, whatever it was, he looked over and was laughing. You know, when someone's laughing, like, I was like, what are you laughing? He said, what are you doing here? What are you putting yourself through this? I was picking up niggling injuries, and I was off it. Do you know what I mean? Like, Crouchy was spinning me on the halfway line.
I remember, that would never happen. I remember on a plane once you having to lie down, like behind seats or something like that, with a foam roller or something, sort of like arching your back up kind of thing, because you were just in bits. You were an absolute agony.
People don't realise the lengths that a lot of players have to go through, like injury wise. Like me, then, like you would. Some days I'd walk in and people would be laughing at me. Like I'd walk in like all bent over. Like it'd take me 3 or 4 days to get upright and then play it again on a Saturday. I was in a mad state at that time, but it's what you do, innit? Yeah. To keep playing. By hook or by crook, you get yourself fit for Saturday. But yeah, I knew then my body was, before I signed for QP, I thought I'd get another season easy out of myself. But midway through the season, I just knew that.
Nah, it ain't working. And the same. No. I think for someone like you as well, Rio, when you have been the best, like literally the best, when you can't do it, and like you say, when Crouchy is spinning you on the halfway, like you got to go, come on, that'll do, yeah.
Me and Crouchy are laughing, like even now about it. Like he said, I'll opposite movement on you. He said, I've never done opposite movement on anyone in my career. You know what I mean? And done it against me, like on a halfway line. And I remember in a moment, I was just like, wow. But you got like young kids who are like in your day, even players at the club at your day, thinking like facing you up and looking to like have it with you, like, and you're thinking, you would never have done this.
Yeah,
years ago, you know what I mean? It's like your ego's all over the gaff.
Yeah.
But it's like it's part of a footballer going through. You're doing things now that you finding difficult maybe now.
Yeah.
Or harder than we would have found 10 years ago.
100%.
You know what I mean?
It's amazing how many, like, it's not even how many, virtually every footballer that you see playing on Saturday afternoon has got an injury and niggle or something, haven't they? They'll get by with anti-inflammatories, they'll get massage, all that kind of stuff. They have to be proper professional nowadays. Everybody's got something. It just batters your body, doesn't it?
Oh, mate. It's you know what it is? It's our era as well. It's like we'd done a lot of things that weren't right.
Yeah.
So you're always playing with like plasters on. Do you know what I mean? You're always playing with like bandage and you're thinking like, if only. That's what I think now.
Yeah,
One of the
true,
things,
yeah.
if only I'd have had the resources and the science.
That's the
data,
one, the science, yeah. Could have longed it out more.
I would have played definitely until like late 30s.
Really,
It's
yeah.
amazing that I think like you're 39, I'm 38 and stuff, and you're talking about eras. Like in my head, I'm going, no, this is the same era, but it moves on quick, doesn't it?
Right.
It's amazing.
Like talking about John Artson, when we was at West Ham on a Friday, it used to be like spaghetti bolognese with ham and eggs on top of it, and like and a few beers on the way home after a game.
Yeah.
Well, the kit man ain't got beers. What's going on? Like it's like that was the way. Well, now even when I got into playing in the belly of my career, that would never have been a thing. Like drinks on the way home from a game on the bus, on the team bus. You know what I mean? Like, and obviously look forward now. Like you see it more than me. You're in it still. Like, but the data that they're given, the understanding of like whether it's stats in the game, but also physicality, what you're doing data wise is like it's all at your fingertips.
Mate, now literally, like even at Watford last year, like the lads will be training and players are getting pulled out. Like literally, there'll be the physio or whatever, or the science guy, and he will be going, he needs to come out now. He's done enough running because he's got the heart rate on, he's got GPS on, they've got all the data in front of him. He's done enough running now. That's it, pull him out.
This is really interesting because I want to hear your take on this, Rio. Obviously, commercially, you've got clubs post-season tour, pre-season tour, flying around the world. When there's such detail put into, I guess, physiology these days, it can't be a good thing, surely, like going to the other side of the world for 4 or 5 days, coming back, because it doesn't matter who you are, like jet lag, travel, being on the plane for 20 hours, even if you're in first class. Surely is this not an oversight?
It's possibly the worst thing you can do. We've been on these tours.
Yeah.
They're grueling. Listen, and people go, "Oh, you're travelling." You don't see it. You
travel.
don't see it.
Yeah.
You get to the airport, hotel, training ground, commercial day, training ground, stadium, game, home, or wherever your next destination, right? So you very rarely get to see the city, right? But physically, I think it's really difficult. It's really hard. It's not the perfect scenario, but you got to understand that this isn't just football no more. It's a business.
Yeah, true.
And these clubs are just taking care of business. The commercial opportunities that come off the back of these and the financial rewards is huge. And the players are bought into it now. They know. I knew when I was playing.
Yeah.
We're going there. On our days off, I was doing commercial stuff to grow my audience. And engage with people in those different territories. The players understand that now as well. So I think they're much more bought into
Play
it
the
because
game a bit
they
more,
understand
don't they?
it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Right, we've got some questions. Where all right, it's kind of like quickfire questions, but it's golden, mate. It's golden. Does Rio Ferdinand have any hidden skills?
Other than cooking, no.
Decent cook though.
Yeah, I remember you used to cook.
Yeah, still do, mate.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you good. You still good. Was you like studying it and stuff?
Well, I was. I
classes?
left school at 16, chef for 2 years, and then got into football late like that. It's nice, though, isn't it?
To be fair, I'm not going to. Well, I am going to blow smoke up your eyes. You are decent.
Is he good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we'll have to have some sort of like cook off.
Yeah,
We've got a video in there somewhere.
5 CGK cook off.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Who are your idols growing up?
Diego Maradona, Mike Tyson. They were my two.
That was one of our questions earlier, actually. It was if you could play alongside one player.
Oh, Maradona.
Maradona, yeah.
Oh, mate.
I told you it would be Maradona.
Sitting there commentating through the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we did earlier on, and I said, maybe he'll pick someone like Maldini or something. And I think, did you say Maradona?
I said, it would be someone like Baresi thing, or it would be Maradona or someone like that. Yeah. Maradona. What is the best advice you would give to a younger yourself? It's a deep one, this, isn't it?
I say this to my kids. I probably wouldn't have gone out enjoying all the invitations to nightclubs that I did earlier in my career, because I think they hindered me later on with injuries and stuff like that as well. It played a part. It takes its toll. Like when I was at West Ham, I swear down, I don't remember everything in the games and stuff like that. People say to me, "But that game," and I was pissed.
Struggling to remember it now,
just after an all day or something. Mad. Like I was.
But because you got still young and you got energy, you can just get through it. Like
you could, and the culture in football was very different. If you was one of the ones who didn't go out, you was like you're a weirdo.
Yeah, true.
That's going back 25
years ago. Yeah,
it's a long time.
You finish a game. Me and Frank used to have to try and stop each other talking about going out,
buzzing so much,
sitting there. We're going in pouring, I can't wait. And he'd be going, I know I'd go to him like, don't talk about it. You can take my mind off the game. Stop it. And you sit there and you'd all say, because we used to room together, and you sit there and you look at each other and go, we're out tonight. like that, like unbelievable. Like. And then or half time, you're winning a game or something like that, celebrating, go, fucking going for it. Like, during
Win
the game.
bonus.
Yeah, like mad, mate. Crazy, but yeah, it's very different.
Yeah. Your first ever teenage crush? That's a good question. Come on.
Oh, I remember it. Michelle Collins.
Actress?
Used to be in EastEnders.
EastEnders, Michelle Collins.
What's her name? What's her name in EastEnders
Oh,
again?
God, I know who you're on about though. Blonde hair kind of thing. Sort of gingery blonde.
No, blonde. I actually met her once when I was a kid. She was doing awards something, and I asked her for a kiss on the cheek and everything.
Michelle Collins.
I'm gonna get her name up again.
Yeah, she was in EastEnders. You
Yeah.
remember her? She had like shortish blondish
Yeah,
hair.
but
I
like
need
short
the screen
yeah.
name. I need the screen
Yeah.
name.
Cindy
Cindy.
Bill.
Cindy
Bill.
Bill.
Ah,
Yeah.
she was my crush as a kid.
Ian Beale's missus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Harry was punching. He was punching massively.
He lives down the road from
Yeah.
us.
Oh, I love it. Favorite ever film or TV program? One of each, actually.
Shawshank Redemption for
Yep.
the younger people who are looking on wouldn't know that at all. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption. Film on what?
TV program.
TV program,
series.
TV series. Narcos.
Oh, yeah. Narcos
Wow,
is
okay.
banging, to be fair.
Narcos.
Narcos
What
is
about,
banging.
here's one for you, bucket list sporting event to go to as a fan, if you haven't already done it.
NBA final. I've been Super Bowl. It was
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I went to one of the best NFL finals. I was lucky with Tom Brady come back. He won it.
Oh, wicked.
NBA final probably. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a banger, to be fair. Do you have a game or app on your phone that you still play today? Something like an old school shitty game that you've always just stuck loyal to?
No,
No,
I don't,
nothing?
not an old one. No, I've got a couple of games that I play. Actually, it's called Trigger Fist. Get on that. You might like that. Seriously, SOCOM. It's the nearest thing to SOCOM.
Yeah, all right. sweet.
Decent.
Are
Trigger
you
Fist.
still playing Countdown with Clevs?
Nah, we can't. It's not online, is it?
Is
Can't
it not
play
online?
Nah.
How is Clevs?
Clev's golden, mate.
I still chat to Clevs. Like, we
Clev's
got a
the
group.
man,
We
yeah.
got a group.
He always mentions the group
Yeah,
chat and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. Clev's the man,
Yeah.
mate, honestly. Clevs is the man. He is,
Good guy.
just been made captain, actually.
Has he?
Yeah, he's the boy, though. What
He
a
was
guy.
captain for a bit before. And then
Yeah,
he got
Musa came, Sissoko came, and then he took it off him for a bit. Clev's a man. Main man. Favourite holiday destination?
Oh, Maldives,
Yeah?
and where me and Kate got married in Turkey.
Oh, nice. I
Mm.
like it. Yeah, nice. If you were a boxer and you have tried to be a boxer, what would your walkout song be?
A song called Dangerous. I don't know who sings it though. It's a reggae song, but it's obviously telling people that I'm dangerous. Nigel Benn used to walk out to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most famous person you've ever met?
Wow. Most famous person other than the Queen.
Oh, she's
Probably,
famous.
probably the Queen.
Were you
Probably
on,
the Queen.
You won the South Africa tour with Nelson Mandela?
Oh, Nelson Mandela's another
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was lucky. I got to meet him a good couple of times. Nelson Mandela. He was the one that probably had me
Yeah.
more like a kid. I was going in there shook, thinking,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah. Big
it's
Nelson.
Nelson."
Yeah,
Yeah,
proper that,
Mandela.
innit? Yeah.
Wow, like all that he'd done in his life. You know what I mean? That meant the most. I think more than anybody.
Is there any managers in the current game, past game, that you would have loved to have played for? Don't get me wrong, you played for the best, but is there anyone
Pep
else there?
Guardiola.
Big Pep, yeah.
I'd like to. Just the way the style his teams play with is just like I think would have suited my game
Oh,
as well.
down
I'd
to
love
the
to have played with
ground.
him. Played for him. I think he's demanding, but yeah, Pep Guardiola would have been the one.
Most passes in the Premier League.
Always
That
standard.
would have been you,
And
wouldn't it?
one last
Yeah.
question then. How much do you think a defensive duo of Virgil van Dijk and Rio Ferdinand would be worth today's market, both in their pomp?
No change out of 330 mil.
Mate, if you're buying them two, you have got the best partnership probably in the history of the Premier League, yeah? Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I agree
It's
with
up
that
there,
too,
definitely,
mate.
It's definitely competing.
Oh.
What you
300
said earlier on
something.
was the history of ever was his quote.
It's got to
I
be
was
though.
like, okay.
I think it would be.
It'd be
Seriously.
great if you could come back and play in it like a different, pick an era and just go and play in it.
in
What
your
era?
pomp.
What era?
I'd play now. I would
Yeah.
play now. Yeah, I'd want to see. When you're at games, right, and you'll notice this when you retire, right, and you go. Immediately, you go. The game's speeded up.
Really, yeah.
It feels like everyone's on fast forward. That's what it feels like when you're, especially when you're pitch side, and you're thinking, was it this quick when we played?
Yeah.
Like you've obviously transitioned.
felt that
into
last
this
year,
era.
mate, to be
yeah,
honest.
but as you're getting older, it obviously quickens up. But like, I don't know about you. Do you feel like the game's quicker now than it was
100%.
before?
People are hitting it harder. Honestly, people are kicking balls harder here. I'm not joking.
Is the ball lighter then?
Ball's a little bit lighter. It moves a little bit more, not crazy, but they're definitely travelling faster. 100% they're travelling faster. Just the general, like Kevin De Bruyne is the classic example, right? I've never seen anybody side foot pass the ball as hard as what that guy does. Wraps everything in. Like he can shoot from the edge of the 18-yard box, side foot, and it's in before you've even dived. Honestly,
Wow.
they're a joke,
Mad,
mate.
isn't it?
The speed of everything, faster, quicker.
So do you think the top players in our era can play today?
Yeah, I think they can play. I don't think they're going to be the top players, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be the top players. I don't. I think the game's moved on, and it's inevitable. It's the way it goes.
It's a good way to finish.
We had a conversation just quickly. Yeah, we were talking about. I think I used Arsenal Invincibles as an example, and I said if they played like Man City today, and you were like, "No, they're getting absolutely crucified."
Yeah, they get popped. They get popped by Man City.
I think the way Pep's team plays, that team could play any generation.
Yeah,
and be a competitor.
Yeah,
because the system overrides individuals.
True that.
Well, yeah, that's
changed the game, haven't they?
The Barcelona team. That Barcelona team plays in any generation.
Yeah. All right, boom. Rio Ferdinand, you're the man.
Thank you so much.
Good to be a part of it, man. Loving what you guys are doing. Brilliant.
I appreciate it, mate. We always finish every podcast. I think you're looking into that camera over there, mate. I'll start it off then. Tomasi, and it's Up the Fozcast.
Up the Fozcast.
Up the Fozcast.
Yes, Rio.
Brilliant. Awesome.
Well done, guys.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of the Fozcast. Don't forget to give us a follow on Spotify. Up the Fozcast.